Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up America Weekend. I'm Amanda Brilhanti with Christina Thompson, and we're going to turn our attention to business headlines. And for some help with that, we're going to bring in business and market analyst and Newsmax contributor Seth Denson and global business analyst and British Royals commentator Hillary Ford-Witch. Good morning to you both. We're going to start with the markets here. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow with all the markets in the green, the Dow gaining a healthy 834 points, followed by the S&P up 95 points, and the NASDAQ also up 221 points. Jennifer, we have seen a bull market to close the week, but what do you expect moving forward? Oh, Hillary,
That's all right, yes. Good to be back with you again, Amanda. Well, a few things here. If you look at what's happening, obviously, in Europe, but particularly what's happening with the EU, I would think that the market's going to be bolstered by the fact that actually Olaf Scholz, the new German chancellor, he is actually now finally, although he's been rather dissatisfied with the pace of things in Europe, they are now actually supporting what's happening in the Ukraine. And obviously the move with regard to the SWIFT bank, the SWIFT banking system is basically Gmail for banks, the way that they communicate. I think what you'll see is you'll see a degree of stability impacting the markets. But secondly, I think the world is taken aback by the strength of the Ukrainian people. Zelensky, the president there, has refused to leave the country, although purportedly Biden offered him a way to exit, and he stood fast with his people. So I think that those two combining factors have been a combination of stability, and that's one of the reasons that you haven't seen the markets as shaken as they might have been. I think that you see a degree of stability that we wouldn't have thought maybe last week.
I mean, stability is always good. Seth, do you think that this means that the old saying, buy low, sell high, is now the time for investors to get into the market, or should they still hold off?
Yeah, I think investors have to be very specific about what they're going after. You know, there's an old saying, don't miss the forest for the trees. Well, right now, when it comes to investing, don't miss the tree for the forest, right? Don't try to look at things to the broad spectrum. If you're going to go get into the market, you need to think about two key things. What are the right buys to have? What is the time horizon, right? And when I say right buys, I'm saying what is the upside? We always think about where stocks are right now. Where are they going? That's the real important question. So investors need to look at that keenly and understand their time horizon going forward when they're making investments. But it's not that it's just a bad time to invest. There's always opportunities to be had.
Well, like Hillary mentioned, we're seeing more stability than we were expecting, given that Ukrainians are also pushing back. But Hillary and Seth, we've both been talking about oil prices constantly here. And Hillary, you know that they surged past $100 a barrel. The Nord Stream 2 pipeline is shut down. How high will oil prices rise? And what does that mean for everyday Americans when it comes to seeing gas prices at the pump?
Well, Amanda, it's ghastly for the average American, of course. And also, who does this really impact? Think about it. You know, the wealthy, they don't either stand at the gas pump and put gas in their car, nor do they know, nor do they care, nor does it affect them. It's going to affect the average American. Middle and lower income American families pump their own gas and know these prices. So a few factors here. I'll actually defer to JP Morgan on this. JP Morgan said that if gas prices or petroleum and Brent crude go to over $100 a barrel, if it hits $150 a barrel, that could mean we will see $7 a gallon at the gas pump. And that is something that your average American will feel, will see, and it will impact the way they vote with the midterms coming up on November 8th. That's something that the Democratic Party has really, it's an own goal with all the focus on renewable energy, which of course hasn't been ready to deploy. It's very undependable. And if you look at what's happening globally on this issue after COP26, I mean, does anybody expect that China is going to honor what they said they're going to do? And that by, you know, I think it's 2030 that they're going to abide by the standards issued by COP26, then you believe in Putin and peace. So a few things. One,
your prediction of $7 at the pump, that's insane.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
That's what JP Morgan said it would be if it goes to 150, yes, 150 a barrel.
And even now, I mean, we are still getting oil from Russia, even with all that's going on in the Ukraine. Seth, is now the time for the U.S. to start stepping up its own energy production? Because we have the means to do so. We're just not using it.
Well, listen, there's an old saying, especially when it comes to investing, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, but the second best time is today. So, yeah, I would say that we certainly need to get energy ramped up because you don't flip that switch. It takes at minimum a month to as much as 3 months to get energy online. Now, good thing, you look at areas like the Permian Basin out in West Texas, which has immense reserves. We could flip that switch faster, but unfortunately, the Biden administration has not signaled that it's ready to really open up those floodgates. But yes, we talked about it a bit yesterday, Hillary and I did. If we would open up the floodgates of U.S. energy, we could end this conflict almost immediately because there's enough energy to offset that which Russia requires in order to keep their economy going. So yes, the time is today, but the real time was yesterday, but let's not wait any longer.